Before the day begins, before the newspapers speak, before the ledger opens, we enter the quiet classroom. The purpose of our work this morning and every morning is the development of spiritual consciousness. Not theorizing about it, not believing it, but practicing it until it becomes the very atmosphere of our going out and our coming in. Spiritual consciousness is the ability to see that which is invisible, hear that which is inaudible, and touch that which cannot be felt by the senses. Dawn is the doorway most ready to receive it. Be still and know that I am God. We accept that as our first appointment. We stand at a threshold, and the hinges are small, 10 minutes, yet they swing a great door through which the day will be governed by grace. Our first question, then, is not, what must I accomplish, but what morning practice anchors me in I am. For unless we are anchored, we are adrift upon the accidents of suggestion and circumstance. Unless we begin in I am, we spend our hours trying to add God to a human program instead of letting God be the program. We do not start by promising feats of achievement or by tightening the fist of determination. We start by yielding. I can of mine own self do nothing, said the Master. The Father within me, he doeth the works. If that was true of the Christ appearing in Jesus, it is true of the Christ appearing as you and as me. Let us be humble enough to begin where he began, not with power in the person, but with presence as the only power. So we lay out a path, one simple ritual at daybreak, 10 ordered minutes of turning, of listening, of consenting to be governed. Then, through the hours, we stitch the day with thread made of acknowledgement. Brief pauses, 1 minute, if that is all there is, where we silently declare, God is the only power, and we seal the fabric with ordinary bread. With every morsel, a thanksgiving that recalls the morning union, until the act of eating becomes the bell that rings us back to source. That is all. Tiny hinges, large doors. Why such simplicity? Because spirit needs no elaborate machinery. The wave does not become the ocean by effort. It is the ocean in its very being. I and my Father are one. In the first 10 minutes, we consent to know that, to feel that if we may, and to rest in it even if we do not feel it. Feeling is not the measure of fidelity. Fidelity is the measure of fidelity. The point is not what passes over the surface. The point is that we anchor the keel in the deep before the winds arise. On waking, do not leap for the world. Let the world wait. The world has waited for us to be hurried and anxious. Let it now learn to wait for us to be still. We are not escaping duty. We are admitting the only doer. Thy will be done. Not as resignation, but as recognition that the will of God is the activity of good, the law of harmony, the order of grace. We are not adding God to a crowded schedule. We are letting God arrange the day and place us within it as he pleases. This is our heart hook. Change your morning, and grace will change your day. Not because we have earned a reward, but because we have opened the channel through which what already is may appear as what is to be. Seek first the kingdom, and you will witness organization without strain, provision without fear, answers without argument. We begin here at the threshold with 10 minutes of holy uselessness to the senses and priceless usefulness to the soul. From this moment on, never refuse this call. The bell of dawn is sounding. Let us answer, and let the Father within us do the works. Now let us be exact about what it is we are courting in those first minutes. Spiritual consciousness is not a mood, not a high feeling, not a trance. Spiritual consciousness is the ability to see that which is invisible to eyes of flesh, to hear that which is inaudible to the outer ear, to know that which cannot be known by sense or reason. It is your native capacity to live from oneness rather than from separation, to consult the presence as cause, and to watch effects fall into their ordained places. The kingdom of God is within you. Dawn becomes our doorway because stillness loosens the tyranny of appearances, the clamor subsides, and the inner ear begins to awaken. Be still and know that I am God is not romance. It is a law of perception. When we become still, we do not create God's nearness. We notice it. Consider the simplest picture, a wave upon the sea. The wave is not an entity apart that must plead for ocean. The wave is the ocean, form and movement of one inseparable life. In the same way, you and I are not persons trying to attach ourselves to God. We are expressions of the one life, the one mind, the one love. I and my Father are one. If we are one, indivisible, then the wisdom of the Father is present as the mind that informs us. The vitality of the Father is present as the life that animates us. The wealth of the Father is present as the sufficiency that appears where and when needed. All that the Father hath is mine. Morning contemplation is simply the moment when the little sense of self yields, when the wave ceases pretending to be apart and rests in its ocean identity. How did Jesus feed the multitudes with a few loaves? By perceiving the presence of supply where the senses registered lack. How did he restore sight to the blind? By seeing light where eyes reported darkness. How did he still the storm? By recognizing peace where wind and wave shouted danger. Lift up your eyes and look on the fields, for they are white already to harvest. He was not a magician changing matter. He was a seer, beholding the invisible good that is always present and letting that vision govern the appearance. That ability to behold what is spiritually true in the face of what is sensually reported is spiritual consciousness, and it is not exotic, it is native. It is the faculty of your own soul awaiting your acknowledgement and discipline. Why morning? Because the rim of daybreak offers a quiet margin in which these inner faculties awaken most readily. Before the ledger claims your eyes, before the headline sees your nerves, a holy hush rests upon the earth, and it rests upon you. In the morning will I direct my prayer unto thee, and will look up. He wakeneth morning by morning, he wakeneth mine ear to hear as the learned. The prophet found God not in the wind nor in the earthquake, but in a still small voice. At sunrise, we need not fight noise. We simply enter the already given silence and consent to hear. We are not trying to start God, we are letting God start us. Do you see, then, that this is not the manufacture of spirituality, but the removal of interference? In the first minutes, we let the personal sense go away. If I go not away, the Comforter will not come unto you. And at once the inner Comforter testifies, I am here, I am the life of this day. I will go before you to make the crooked places straight. We are not working up power, we are acknowledging the only power. We are not rehearsing affirmations to conquer circumstances. We are yielding to the presence that orders all things after the counsel of his will. So when we sit at dawn, we do not take thought for the day as if to engineer it. We take no thought and we look up. We behold, if only in trust, the invisible sufficiency of mind for every task, the invisible harmony of love for every meeting, the invisible law of life for every function of body and business. I can of mine own self do nothing. The Father that dwelleth in me, he doeth the works. Let this be our definition and our expectation. Spiritual consciousness is your native capacity to live as the wave moved by the ocean, to see through appearance to substance, and morning stillness is its most ready doorway. Step through and let truth precede you into the day. Now we must speak very plainly, because love tells the truth. The day is passing when you can count on sending a telegram across the miles or telephoning a practitioner to repair your sky before breakfast. Oh no. Not because God has ceased to answer prayer or because those channels were wrong in their time, rather because a constant reliance on some other individual's spiritual capacity in place of awakening your own becomes a denial of the Christ within you. As long as we insist that another must carry us into the presence, we postpone the hour when we discover the presence is already carrying us. The kingdom of God is within you. To keep outsourcing the power is to say, in effect, that the indwelling kingdom is insufficient. And that is the one statement we must refuse to make. If I go not away, the Comforter will not come unto you. Hear that not as history, but as instruction. Morning solitude is our chosen going away from props, from personalities, from the sweet habit of leaning on another's prayers so that we may meet the one who never leaves nor slumbers. Enter into thy closet, said the Master, and when thou hast shut thy door, pray to thy Father which is in secret. The shutting of the door is not romance, it is renunciation. Closing the door to the world's panic and to our own lifelong instinct to reach outward first. There, in that 10-minute sanctuary, the inner Comforter stands revealed as present, able, and sufficient. From this moment on, never refuse a call. You have heard me say it in relation to the needs that come from without, and we will stand by that. But the first call not to refuse is simpler and nearer the bell of the first 10 minutes. Many will rise and answer every text message, every headline, every clamor of task and family, and ignore the one who said, "Behold, I stand at the door and knock." Let us reverse that order. When dawn touches the curtain, answer the inner knock first. Sit, be still, and answer, "Speak, Lord, for thy servant heareth." That fidelity trains the ear and strengthens the spine so that when a neighbor calls in fear, or a child in pain, or a stranger on the street, you will not consult your calendar for permission to be a transparency for God. You will have practiced availability, and availability is what the Comforter requires. But do not make this hard. I can of mine own self do nothing. The Father that dwelleth in me, he doeth the works. If that is not true this morning, it is not true at all. If it is true this morning, it is true for you. The same Father within who fed multitudes then, who stilled storms then, who opened blind eyes then, is the Father within who does the works now. Jesus Christ, the same yesterday and today and forever. Therefore, you can begin healing work today, not because you have amassed spiritual capital overnight, but because you will not refuse the call to be a witness. Your first act is not to fix anything, but to yield. Father, reveal thyself here. 5 seconds of turning Godward, 10 seconds of inner acknowledgement. God is the only power, will do more than 5 hours of human counsel. In earlier seasons of our movement, it was common to wire a night letter or place a long-distance call to silent support and expect an almost mechanical relief. Thank God for every glimpse of grace that came that way. But learn the lesson hidden in it. The relief was never in the wire. The power was never in the practitioner's personality. It was always the one presence answering its own appearing. The hour has come when you must discover that direct line within you. Greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world. When a wave consents to be a wave, it need not import ocean from abroad. It carries ocean by birthright. So with you, your consent to be inwardly available is the opening through which the Comforter proves himself sufficient. And so our reorientation is simple, firm, and joyous. We bless every teacher and helper who has held our hand. We release their hand now to take the hand that is ever within. We choose the closet before the crowd, the presence before the prop, the inward first response before the outward scramble. From this morning on, never refuse the call of dawn to sit and yield and any call of need to be the listening ear, through which the Father within may utter himself, "Lo, I am with you always." That is the promise. Our practice is the amen. Now, because love is practical, let us set our feet upon a simple path that you can walk tomorrow morning without strain or guesswork. In the first minute we surrender, sit upright, not rigid, but poised as one who is being addressed. Breathe as if every breath were the Spirit moving upon the face of the waters. Whisper within, "Speak, Lord, for thy servant heareth." Then lay down the tools of personal doing and say with the Master, "I can of mine own self do nothing. The Father within me, he doeth the works." Do not try to feel holy. Consent to be available. This is the key in the first minute. Availability without agenda. In the next 4 minutes, we take up our basic work, pages 97 to 103, in the infinite way, those sentences that have trained so many minds to look up and behold what is, slowly, not as mantra, but as recognition. I and the Father are one. Let it widen until it fills the room. I and the Father are one, not will be, are. Pause. All that the Father hath is mine, not to grab, but to realize inheritance, not mine as person, mine as the wave that is ocean and nature and supply. Then, with the authority of truth and the softness of love, acknowledge God is the only power, the only presence, the only law, and the only activity. See how those 4 words, power, presence, law, activity, cover the day. Where there seems another power, oh no, God is the only power. Where there seems an absence, oh no, God is the only presence. Where there seems a contrary statute, a diagnosis, a market decree, oh no, God is the only law. Where there seems frantic motion or stubborn inertia, oh no, God is the only activity. We are not repeating to persuade God. We are contemplating to let vision overrule sense. We linger in these lines, we listen between them, and if no light appears, we remain faithful. If light appears, we remain humble. In minutes 6 and 7, we enter the image that has become a door for multitude. Be the wave resting back into ocean. Let the little sense of I, the one that must make plans, must prove worth, must carry outcomes, dissolve like foam into the deep, not annihilation of being, but the unveiling of true being. Say within, not with strain, but with consent, thy will be done, not resignation to fate, but recognition that the will of God is the law of harmony already governing this day. If thought attempts to seize control, release it gently as one releases a child's hand to the father's care. The wave does not direct the tide. It yields, and in yielding it is carried. In the 8th minute, we practice thanksgiving ahead of evidence. Take no thought for your life, said the Master, but seek ye first the kingdom of God, for your Father knoweth that ye have need of these things. So we give thanks now, not after the deposit arrives, not after the answer comes, not after the meeting goes well. We bless the unseen sufficiency already present. Father, I thank thee that thou hast heard me, and I knew that thou hearest me always. Praise becomes trust vocalized. Gratitude becomes the fragrance of faith that needs no proof. In the 9th minute, we dedicate. Offer the day without reservation. Here am I, send me. Place on the altar your calendar, your talents, your anxieties, your agreements, your interruptions, your phone, your bread. I will never refuse a call. Make me a transparency for thy grace. Let no fear, no flattery, no hurry obstruct thy appearing. Order my goings in thy word. We are not promising heroics. We are consenting to transparency. The Father within will choose the works. We will be the window. In the 10th minute, we enter silence. Words have done their work. They must go away, that the Comforter may come. Release every phrase, every picture, even the practice itself. Sit without reaching. Let truth utter itself. If nothing seems to happen, remain in peace. If a word rises from the deep, receive it tenderly. This minute is the womb of the day. Out of it the unseen takes form without our management. Not by might, nor by power, but by my spirit, saith the Lord. And when the bell of time rings, rise gently, carrying no plan, only presence. A simple, ordered 10 minutes has aligned awareness with the one who will do the works through you. Now we seal the morning with ordinary bread. Before the first bite, let us remember that supply is presence, not matter, that what lies on the plate is a sign, but the substance is invisible. Give us this day our daily bread is not a request that wheat be multiplied. It is the acknowledgement that daily, moment by moment, the one life feeds its own out of itself. Israel called it manna. What is it? Because the sense mind cannot label spiritual sufficiency. Yet it fell unfailingly as long as they looked up to the giver and not down to the ground, so bring dawn into breakfast. Pause, one quiet breath, and know, Father, thou art the life, the law, the activity of this food. Not the calories, not the chemistry, oh no, the presence that formed the seed, ripened the field, and set this table is the only nourishment. Make this a micro-practice, gentle and frequent, with every meal a breath, with every morsel a sentence of thanks that returns you to I am as source. It may be as simple as, I and the Father are one, all that the Father hath is mine. Or, God is the only power here, God is the only presence here. Or, Father, I thank Thee. We are not blessing matter to make it holy. We are recognizing the holy as the life of the moment. And in that recognition, the act of eating becomes sacrament. I am the bread of life, said the Master. When you lift a crust to your lips, hear him not as a doctrine over centuries, but as the presence within you now declaring, I am your sufficiency. I am the life digesting, assimilating, and distributing myself as harmony. Guard yourself here against the subtle snare of ritualism. It is not the words over bread that do anything. The words are scaffolding. The reality is the bread of life within. Man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of God. If the sentence you offer at table is mouthed while your mind races the headlines, nothing has been sealed. But if for the space of one inward bow you enter your closet, though you sit among friends, shutting the door of hurry, and know God is the only power, the only presence, the only law, the only activity, then something in you remembers the morning union, and the meal becomes a bell ringing you back to source. Extend this to water, to coffee, to the common cup that punctuates your hours, at the sink, hand on the glass, whisper within, whosoever drinketh of the water that I shall give him shall never thirst. Every sip an altar, every swallow a consent. In thee is my well. Do not lengthen it. Do not make a show of it. Let it be as a blink of the soul, half a breath in which you look up and say, thank you. And you mean the giver, not the gift. These brief acknowledgments keep the channel clear. They are not payments to a reluctant God. They are remembrances that disarm the mind's habit of reaching outside for what already wells up within. You will find, as this thread is woven through the day, that anxiety loosens its grip on food, on diet, on the fear that one wrong bite can exile you from harmony. We do not tempt God by neglect. We simply refuse to fear. We do not worship molecules. We honor the one who appears to us as bread and as strength. The wave does not beg the ocean for minerals. It is the ocean in motion. So with you. Eat with reverence, not for the loaf, but for the life that is your life and the life of the loaf. In that reverence, take no thought. Your Father knoweth that ye have need of these things. Needs organize themselves under grace when you keep contact. Try it at breakfast, fork lifted, the faintest turn within, Father, thou art here, and then eat. At midday, in the crowded cafe, no display, only the inner nod. God is the only activity, and then eat. At evening, when weariness would have you forget, remember manna, sufficient for the day, unhoardable, fresh as presence. Each morsel is your bell. Let it ring you back to the silence of the first 10 minutes, until even between meals the heart keeps time with the giver, and bread is no longer separate from blessing, nor you from the source that feeds its own. Now we add the bell that keeps the morning alive through every hour. Pray without ceasing, said the apostle. He did not mean lengthening prayers until the clock despairs. He meant constancy of inner contact. Set a gentle chime on your device, not harsh, not theatrical, a whisper that reminds rather than startles. When it sounds, stop for 15 to 30 seconds wherever you are, at the desk, in the hallway, at the curb, close the inner door, and contemplate with the simplicity we have learned. God is the only power, the only presence, the only law, and the only activity. No display, no strain, one breath that returns you to source, and then you go on. Let each word do its work. God is the only power, so fear has no authority to dictate terms. God is the only presence, so there is no absence of good anywhere you must be. God is the only law, so no decree of market, medicine, or memory can rise above the statute of grace. God is the only activity, so there is not the fever of haste, nor the paralysis of delay. There is only the rhythm of spirit fulfilling itself. We are not hypnotizing ourselves with pleasant thoughts. We are recognizing reality until the sense of a second power evaporates. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one Lord. Oneness leaves no rival. Practice this in motion. The email that arrives with red urgency, oh no, the only power is God. Breathe, acknowledge, then answer as you are led. The headline that shouts disaster, oh no, the only presence is God. Be of good cheer, I have overcome the world. The negotiation that begins to bristle, oh no, the only law is God. Truth governs. Honesty prevails. Fairness appears where fear would grab. The body that signals fatigue or alarm, oh no, the only activity is God. Life lives itself as you now. Do you see? We are not pasting platitudes over trouble. We are withdrawing our belief from a second cause. All power is given unto me in heaven and in earth, testified the Master, not to a person, but to the presence that he revealed. When you agree with that presence, the atmosphere of oneness thins and harmony has room to show itself. Keep it brief, keep it faithful. If the chime sounds while you are speaking with a friend, do not interrupt conversation to be pious. Let your pause be interior. The branch does not need to announce that it abides. It draws quietly from the vine. Abide in me and I in you. 15 seconds of abiding each hour will do more to transform your day than 15 anxious hours of planning. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths. Acknowledge in tiny ways often, and watch paths clear that you did not even know were tangled. The effect is cumulative. One stitch does not make a garment, but many small stitches, placed steadily, become a seamless coat. You remember that the Master's garment was without seam. When hourly acknowledgments thread through your tasks, interruptions, and meals, the day becomes seamless. No place for fear to slip its fingers in. No frayed edge for irritation to catch. Thou wilt keep him in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on thee, not stayed once, spectacularly, but stayed again and again, lightly and lovingly, until there are no gaps. And if you forget an hour, oh yes, you will do not condemn yourself. The practice is not a test you pass. It is a door you re-enter. The just man falls 7 times and rises again. Rise at the next chime. If you miss 3, take the 4th as if it were the first morning. Grace is not counting. Grace is always present. Your part is fidelity, not feeling. Your power is consent, not conquest. Let the bell be your friendly knock, and from this moment on, do not refuse that call. Answer with a whisper. God is the only power, presence, law, and activity. And then step forward, not as one burdened with duty, but as a wave moved by the ocean. Brief hourly acknowledgments stitch the day to the presence until there are no gaps. And then, without your managing it, you discover that the day is being carried. Now we put feet to this faith in the simplest arena of all today. The Master did not leave us guessing, take no thought for your life, seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. This is not poetry to be admired at dawn and forgotten by 9. It is a working law that translates itself into scheduling, spending, and speaking. We are exchanging anxious management for holy order, personal plot for presence-led proceeding. We begin where we have already been trained. We turn within, we acknowledge and we listen, and then we move as directed. I can of mine own self do nothing. The Father that dwelleth in me, he doeth the works. Let it be practical. Before you lift the pen to build a to-do list, let there be 10 seconds of inward looking. Father, what is to be done through me? Not what should I force, but what are you already bringing to pass, and where shall I be found? Pause, be still, and notice the quiet reordering that takes place. A task that seemed first loosens its grip and takes 3rd place. A nudge to call someone rises gently. An appointment you are about to press upon another dissolves of itself. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths. Do not fear that you will become idle. Oh no, you will become accurate. You will discover that the shortest distance between where you are and what must be done is not a straight line, but a listened line. Watch how this operates in the small. One of you will leave the house 5 minutes later than habit and meet the very person whose word resolves a tangle that 3 emails could not touch. Another will hear within. Wait on that purchase, and before the day ends, the needed sum appears or the price lowers without your cleverness. A third will step into a conversation with no rehearsed argument, and the exact phrase will form on the tongue, soft as dew and strong as truth, for it shall be given you in that same hour what ye shall speak. This is not luck, it is law. Your Father knoweth that ye have need of these things. When the kingdom is sought first, needs arrange themselves by grace as surely as the sun arranges morning. In your routing, listen. The map says left. The inner nudge says not yet. Consent. You find the delay you feared is nowhere on your path. In your spending, listen. The mind calculates scarcity, the heart hears enough consent. You discover a window opens that the ledger did not foresee. Cast your net on the right side, not the busy side, not the frightened side, the right side, and there is sufficiency without strain. In your speaking, listen. The urge to fill silence yields to the Comforter's timing. You say less and convey more. You bless without performing. You correct without wounding. The Father within doeth the works, and you obey with the simplicity of a servant who knows the voice of his master. Do not mistake this for passivity. The lilies do not toil, but they do grow. The birds take no thought, but they do fly. We will keep our appointments, answer our messages, do our craft, We will decline what is not ours and accept what is. The difference is this: management gives way to government. Pressure yields to peace. Not by might, nor by power, but by my Spirit, saith the Lord. You will still move, but as a wave moved by the ocean, not as a bucket dragged across sand. You will still decide, but from an obedience that is joy, not from a fear that is bondage. Test it this very day. Seek first the inner acknowledgement, the 15 seconds of pausing, the breath over bread, and then let the day organize itself. You will find errands meeting you halfway, words arriving on time, the right door opening while the wrong door shuts without your wrestling it. He goeth before you. The lines will fall unto me in pleasant places. And if a moment rises that seems to demand panic, oh no, return to your first love. God is the only power, presence, law, and activity. Then take the next step you are given quietly. From this moment on, never refuse the inner call. The kingdom first, the calendar follows. The Father within doeth the works. We provide the loving, yes. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on this schedule, in this account, upon this tongue today. Now, because love foresees the very places we stumble, let us speak tenderly and plainly about the obstacles that appear at sunrise, restlessness, doubt, and the cry of no time. These are not enemies, they are invitations to fidelity. Be still and know that I am God is not a suggestion to the already calm. It is a command addressed to the very moment when calm seems impossible. Hear me. It is fidelity, not feeling, that carries us through the first miles of this way until, by a grace that cannot be timed, the practice itself carries us. First, no time. Oh no. The 10 minutes you save by skipping are the minutes that would have multiplied harmony through every hour. Do you remember the loaves and fishes? How many did the Master have to begin with? Very little. But when placed in the hands of the invisible, the little fed the many. So with time, when you place the first 10 minutes into the hands of the one who orders stars, the day is fed. When you clutch them back, the day starves. The minutes you think you are saving will be demanded later with interest in confusion, in repeated tasks, in missteps that one moment of inner acknowledgement would have spared. Redeeming the time, said the apostle, not stretching the clock by might, but exchanging minutes of anxiety for minutes of government. Martha, Martha, thou art careful and troubled about many things, but one thing is needful. Do the needful first. The day will recognize its governor. Second, the wandering mind. Do not fight your own thinking. The mind that tries to push thoughts away only glues them tighter. Instead, return gently and often to 2 living sentences of truth. I and the Father are one. Pause. God is the only power, presence, law, and activity. Let those be doors, not decorations. If you must return 20 times in 10 minutes, return 20 times, and every return is a victory. Thou wilt keep him in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on thee. Stayed does not mean fixed once for all. It means turned again each time it strays. Even 2 conscious sentences of oneness open the door through which the rest of the day may enter. We are not manufacturing a state. We are recognizing a presence. The shepherd does not scold the lamb that wanders. He gathers it, be gathered. Third, the dry seasons, when nothing seems to stir, no warmth comes, and silence feels like stone. Oh, yes, these visit almost every soul that undertakes real practice. Endure kindly. They that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. Waiting here is not idleness. It is staying at your post. 6 months of faithful discipline often precede that gentle threshold I call transition, when truth begins to utter itself and the labor of practice gives way to the ease of being carried. Do not dig up the seed to see if it sprouted. Do not change your practice to chase a feeling. Let the practice change you while you feel nothing. Well done, thou good and faithful servant. Thou hast been faithful over a few things. I will make thee ruler over many things. Rulership follows fidelity, not fireworks. Fourth, emergencies. From this moment on, never refuse a call. But hear this, the first 10 seconds belong to God. Before you lift a hand, lift your heart. Father, reveal thyself here. God is the only power, the only presence, the only law, and the only activity. 10 seconds. Then act, call, drive, bandage, speak, but act from peace, not from panic. Stand still and see the salvation of the Lord does not forbid movement. It forbids fear from being the mover. Peace I leave with you, my peace I give unto you. The deed done in that peace accomplishes more than a dozen deeds flung by alarm. You will discover that help meets you. Words come rightly, doors open without battering. The Father within doeth the works. Your part is to refuse the tyranny of hurry in the very hour when hurry seems justified. Finally, a protection against the sharpest thorn of all self-condemnation. If you miss a morning, begin at noon. If you miss the noon chime, begin at 2. The just man falleth 7 times and riseth up again. Rise. No tally is being kept against you. Mercy is new every morning because mornings are for beginning again. Keep to the simple path. 10 minutes at dawn, hourly acknowledgments, gratitude with every morsel. Keep to the simple truth. I can of mine own self do nothing. The Father within me, he doeth the works. Keep to the simple refusal. Oh, no second power, no second presence, no second law, no second activity. Fidelity will carry you through early resistance, and in due season you will awaken to find that the tide you honored now carries you without your managing it into a day ordered by grace. There comes by no trumpet but by a hush, the morning or the mid-afternoon, when you realize that you did not make your peace today. It found you. You did not brace your thought like a soldier. You softened like a son. The chime sounds, and before it does, something in you has already turned. A word rises of itself. I and my Father are one, not as a sentence you place upon the moment, but as a state that holds the moment. This is transition. It is not a spectacle. It is a transfer of government. You move from being a person applying truth to a transparency through whom truth lives. It is no longer I that live, but Christ liveth in me. It is no longer a line from Paul. It is the tone of your day. The marks are gentle and unmistakable. Guidance begins to arrive without your straining to hear it. You find yourself stepping aside in conversation and noticing that phrases you had not prepared, kind, exact, healing form on your tongue in time for the need. You lay a hand to a task that once tangled you, and it unwinds as if it had been waiting for the hand that would not push. A disturbance in the body presents itself, and before the reflex of fear can speak, the inner fact is already standing. Oh no, God is the only power, presence, law, and activity, and the wave of alarm breaks on a shore that does not move. My sheep hear my voice, said the Master. You are not trying to hear. Hearing has become native because oneness has become normal. Healings begin to occur on the way as you go, not as the result of mental wrestling. You will discover one day that a concern you have carried quietly for months has simply slipped off like an old garment. You did not peel it away, it fell. Another day you will notice that the dread of germs, once the hidden tyrant of your travels, has evaporated, not by argument, but by absence. You are not careless, you are fearless. Still another day, the tyrant calendar, with its whisper that you are late, behind, aging into less, will find no audience. Who told thee that thou wast naked? The old voice loses its spell. Dominion replaces dread, not dominion over persons or events, but dominion as poise within them. All power is given unto me in heaven and in earth, ceases to sound like blasphemy and begins to sound like sanity, for it is the power of the one present as your awareness. Do you see the identity change? The wave has stopped trying to be ocean by effort. It rests into what it is and discovers that the tide is its mover. You no longer stand at the door of each moment with tools and plans. You stand as a window, and the light knows how to pass. All that the Father hath is mine ripens from statement into state. You do not reach to seize supply. You abide and find it ever rising, ideas, time, solutions, friendships, each coming not as acquisitions, but as appearances of the one life fulfilling itself. Abide in me, and I in you. Herein is my Father glorified, that ye bear much fruit. Fruit appears where branch abides. Work remains, but labor transmutes into flow. In transition, silence deepens without your organizing it. You sit and discover that the well is already springing. You walk into a room and feel that peace preceded you, he goeth before you, and you have only to consent. The habit of hourly acknowledgement continues, but it has turned from discipline into delight. Sometimes you notice that the prayer arrived before the bell. Bread remains sacrament, but gratitude has become breath. You catch yourself, once enslaved to shortage, speaking the quiet truth, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want, and you find that wanting has little to say back. This is not the end of practice. It is practice maturing into presence. You will still be tempted by hurry, by opinion, by the glittering bait of a second power, and you will still answer with the simple refusals we have learned. But more and more, truth moves first, and you follow gladly. The day, ordered by grace, organizes around the kingdom you seek without strain, and you no longer the manager of outcomes step forward as the love transparency of a love that has taken over its own revelation. Be still and know that I am God. In transition, stillness is no longer an achievement. It is the knowing. And in that knowing, life becomes what it always was, God being God, and you, the witness and instrument of that holy fact. Now we come to the simple benediction that turns a morning into a mission. Let us consciously place the whole of this day where it belongs, not in our fingers, but in God. Quietly within, say it with me and mean it. Here, Father, thou be the life, the law, and the supply of this day. I loose it and let it go. I relinquish health into thy health, supply into thy sufficiency, reputation into thy name. Commit thy way unto the Lord. Trust also in him, and he shall bring it to pass, not by our management, but by thy government. Not my will, but thine, be done on this path, in these tasks, through this voice. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths. We acknowledge now. Loose it and let it go means exactly this. We release the claim to be the doer, the fixer, the defender. We refuse the superstition of two powers, and we accept the single fact, I can of mine own self do nothing. The Father that dwelleth in me, he doeth the works. If there is a meeting today, Father, thou be the wisdom there. If there is a need today, thou be the provision appearing. If there is a rumor today concerning my name, thou be my righteousness and vindication. No weapon that is formed against thee shall prosper. We offer up every outcome, every timetable, every unshed worry. We cast our care upon thee, for thou carest for us. Now, extend the blessing. From this moment on, never refuse a call. Let every request for comfort, counsel, or healing be to you not a burden but a bell. Answer, not as a person with remedies, but as a transparency through which the Comforter may do its own work. Freely ye have received, freely give. If a hand reaches out at noon, give the 15 seconds first. God is the only power, presence, law, and activity. And then place your hand, your word, your silence, as you are led. Silver and gold have I none, but such as I have give I thee. Such as you have is not human wizardry. It is the presence of God recognized and allowed to reveal itself where you stand. Step into rooms as a witness to oneness. Let the wave carry the ocean's peace to every shore you touch. Let us also make a covenant, simple and exact. For 30 days we practice this ritual as the hinge upon which our doors swing. 10 minutes at dawn, sealing the day. Here, Father, thou be the life, law, and supply of this day. I loose it and let it go. Hourly pauses, logged not as merit but as mindfulness, one mark for each quiet acknowledgement that God is all, gratitude with every morsel, a brief inward bow that remembers the bread of life. Keep a small card or page. At night, look not to condemn or congratulate, only to witness fidelity. 30 days will open the gate to 6 months of maturation, where discipline ripens into delight and delight into the ease of being led. The just live by faith, and faith is kept, not felt. Remember the promise in words, plain enough for children. Change your morning. Grace changes your day. Tiny hinges, big doors, daily. Seek ye first the kingdom of God, and all these things shall be added unto you. Seek first in 10 minutes, seek again in 15 seconds. Seek between bites, and then watch the addition occur without your arithmetic paths straightened, answers on time, help arriving by ways you could not have drafted. He goeth before you. You will discover that appointments meet you, that protection accompanies you, that provision rises as needed. Like manna, what is it? It is the presence fulfilling itself. So we commission the day, and we commission you. Go out as a wave moved by the ocean, not by self-will. Take no thought for your life. Take thought only for your God. Keep your yes ready and your hands light. If the world presents a second power, answer softly, oh no, God is the only power, presence, law, and activity, and walk on. Lo, I am with you always, not behind you pushing, not ahead of you hiding, but within you living its own life as you. Peace be unto you. Arise, let us go hence.